let's figure out what I'm going to read in February because at this point, I have no idea. Hi, I'm Alana. I love to post about books and personal style, and today I thought it might be fun to kind of take you along with me as I build my February TBR. It probably is not fun for anybody else except for me, but I'm trying to figure it out anyway, so you're coming with. I am somebody that likes to make a monthly TBR every month, and I'd say that typically I stick to it maybe around 70%. I will generally read most of the things that I set for myself, but usually at some point other things come up. I decide I'm in a different mood, a library book becomes available, I get something in the mail, and I change course. But I will probably read a decent chunk of these. Another thing to note is that I do read in all three formats. I typically am in the middle of three books at a time. So I usually will have one physical, digital, and audiobook going at any given time. So we're going to choose some in each category. And then a few things to keep in mind for February. One, it is a shorter month. I probably will still choose a ridiculous amount of books. I have been reading on average like 15 books a month, which is an insane number, but it is accurate. And two, it is Black History Month. I have been trying very hard to read diversely all year long, so this is not just a February thing for me, but I do want to prioritize Black authors this month, of course. I am pretty sure what I want to read as my first physical book of the month, which is going to be Comedic Timing. 831 Stories was very nice to send this to me. I think they're such a fun, cool new romance publisher, and I'm so excited about everything they're doing. I really liked the first book they sent to me, and this one I know is about a woman who has just gotten out of a relationship with a woman, starts dating a man, and starts kind of examining what that means for her sexuality. Okay, the second one I kind of have in mind for this month is Grown. My friend Laura sent this to me over a year ago, at least, and it has just been sitting here for so long. But I did read Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson last year at some point, and I liked it a lot. So I've been wanting to read more of her work. I think this is perfect time. I do not remember what it's about, so we could find out together. When legendary R&B artist Corey Fields spots Enchanted Jones at an audition, her dreams of becoming a famous singer take flight. Until Enchanted wakes up with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night. Okay, definitely giving some of those Mondays Not Coming vibes, just with older characters in terms of characters not remembering things. No idea how similar it is at all. But I do remember that book being pretty quickly paced, and I feel like this one probably will be the same, especially since it's got like kind of some thriller elements. Okay, I don't even remember what else I have up here, so we're just gonna grab a couple of stacks, see what we got, because these are the newest books I've added, which means I probably am going to be more likely to read some of the newer ones than some of the ones that have been sitting here for a couple of years. Okay, these are all arcs, which I feel very fortunate to have, but I have had a problem and I have been requesting too many things, saying yes to too many things, signing up for too many influencer programs, and now I just have more books I know what to do with. Okay, the newest one I got in the mail, I actually am very interested in, which is Nothing Serious. This was from William Morrow. And from what I remember, it's about a woman whose boyfriend breaks up with her and he starts dating somebody else. And then she goes missing or turns up dead. And it very much feels like the type of book that's up my alley. Okay, and then I have a couple from Berkeley. I have been interested in Murder in the Dressing Room, mainly because it just looks so fun. But if I do want to prioritize Black authors this month, it could be a good time to read Harlem Rhapsody because I don't always reach for historical fiction. So it could be good motivation. I never really think I'm into historical fiction, but then whenever I do read historical books, I end up really liking them. Okay, and it sounds like this is about a writer in 1919 who ends up becoming a successful writer, becoming kind of the voice of Harlem. And it's one that I've seen really good reviews of so far. So, okay, I think we're going to add both of these to the TBR table, and then we will just see what I reach for this month. I have my laptop here because I know that I have some books from the library that are going to be available for me this month. And so I feel like I should consider that because I know I'm going to read those right away. Okay, I do have one available for me that I am going to pick up tomorrow, which is They're There by Tommy Orange. That's a book I've been meaning to read for a long time, and I was convinced I owned for a long time. I don't. I do have some books this year that I don't own that I really want to try to prioritize. So I'm trying to put at least like one of those on hold a month at the library. So this one I for sure will read. And I also remember it being pretty short. So I think that'll be a good one. And crap, because I have two more books that I'm first and second in line for, which means they will probably be available for me very soon. I'm first in line for My Sister the Serial Killer. That's a book I've heard really amazing things about. And then I'm second in line for Death of the Author, which is a new book that I remember being really excited for. So if that comes in, I probably am going to want to read that immediately. Okay, so those are some ones that I will probably also try to read this month. It is wild to me that out of this entire TBR cart, I am probably only going to read maybe two or three of these max, possibly less depending on the library books, because the rest are going to be digital and audiobooks. And I'm going to make zero dent in all of this. That's very fun for me. Okay, now let's move on to digital books. I'm looking at Goodreads and NetGalley right now. One I know for sure I'm going to read is Revive Me, which is the sequel to Restore Me by J.L. Seegers. I really loved that first book last year, and it did kind of emotionally destroy me, so I've been putting off the second book, but I am going to do a buddy read with my best friend Alyssa in February. So I think I don't want to say it's going to be a good time because I do think it'll probably break me, but it will be good. I do feel confident about that. Okay, I do think the rest of my digital books need to be NetGalley arcs because, as I mentioned, I have a problem. I did start one today, which is February 1st. We'll see when I post this. But the book I started was Some Other Time by Angela Brown. This is about a divorced woman who ends up waking up in an alternate timeline when she never got married. And I am kind of into it so far. So excited to see where that goes. Oh, I have the Neck Alley arc for Nothing Serious. Maybe I just read the digital version of that. I genuinely did not remember that I have that. Okay, that's an option. Okay, so then we have the option to either go with what's going to be published next or continuing to prioritize some Black authors. So if we go based off of what's going to be published next, that would be You Didn't Hear This From Me by Kelsey McKinney, who's the host of Normal Gossip. I don't request a lot of nonfiction, but I do love the podcast Normal Gossip, so I did request that. Also, Change of Heart by Fallon Ballard. I'm running a little cool on Fallon Ballard. I have loved her books. I loved Lease on Love, but her last two books for me that I've read, I did not love. So I'm kind of not in a rush to read that as much as I just really like her as a person and I love her podcast. And I really hope Change of Heart is good. I would love to love that book. Okay, the other one for sure I do want to read this month is This Ends in Embers by Camilla Cole. This is the sequel to So Let Them Burn. I loved So Let Them Burn last year. I've been excited about this one. It comes out early February, so absolutely reading that one. And then if we are instead prioritizing Black authors, do have some other options. I think probably the biggest ones that I'm interested in would be Bob the Drag Queen's book, Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. I have no idea what this book is going to be like. I have no idea what Bob is going to be like as an author, but I did run to request that the moment I saw that announced. How many pages is that one though? I'm excited for this one, but I'm also a little nervous about it because I feel like it's going to be good because everything Bob does is good. I just don't know how much I'm gonna like it for sure. Okay, it's pretty short, 240 pages. So definitely is an option. Another option that I was thinking of is If We Were a Movie, which is a YA romance that I don't know much about and I don't really remember why I requested it, but I do love a YA romance, and those books do move pretty quickly, so I'm kind of leaning towards that. Okay, I did just look up some reviews of If We Were a Movie, and I have a couple of friends that rate it 5 stars already. Also, the description that says a Booksmart meets Phantom of the Megaplex. It's a debut, it's enemies to lovers, it's sapphic. Okay, I'm in. We're doing this one this month. Okay, I think that's probably good for digital, especially because I should probably try to prioritize as many physical as possible. I for sure will read a couple of audiobooks. I have a few written down. I'm in the middle of Water Moon, which is a kind of cozy fantasy. So I will finish that one. I just started it yesterday, so I'm going to be reading most of it in February. I also did just get my Libby Holden for The Space Between Worlds, which all I know is that it's a sci fi book that messes with different universes or timelines, something along those effects. I could not tell you, but I feel like I've seen multiple people say it's one of their favorite books of all time. And I do really like sci fi books like that. So for sure, we'll get to that one. I will also at some point remember what it's actually about. And then I have three other options. One is Once Bitten, Twice Shy. I really like this series from Chloe Leese. I downloaded this book from PRH Audio early January, haven't read it yet. So I don't know why I've been putting it off, considering I know I like the series. So that is for sure an option. I know it'll be a cute romance. And I think this one is a take on Romeo and Juliet, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I am always typically pretty bad at reading nonfiction, but I would like to get better at it. So I have a couple downloaded. I have They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us on Hoopla, which is a book that I've heard amazing things about. And then the other one that I've heard amazing things about is The Message. I think they're both fairly short too. And I know I have so many friends that love both of them. So I think either or both of those would be easy to fit in this month. Okay, of all the books I said I was for sure interested in reading, I have 14 written down. I think that is a good list because ultimately I will probably not end up reading a couple of these because I will just decide I'm in the mood for something else. But I think that's a good list to start off with. And I will come back at some point and share which books I actually read. I have no idea if this process is actually interesting for anyone. I have no idea if anything I'm making on YouTube is going to be interesting for anyone. But if you have read any of these books, let me know because I obviously do still need some help prioritizing. And if one of these is your favorite book or you're really excited about it, I would love to take that into account.